He was crowned the King of New York. But even kings have enemies. Behind Biggie's hypnotic flows and diamond-studded success was a list of rivalries.
Mad cause our blue players envy us. Too many players on my shit strenuous when my men bust.
And just when you think Biggie's story was only about music, these names flip the entire narrative on its head. Let's break down the top 7 artists Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G, hated the most. Starting with E40, a 0. That's the rating Biggie allegedly gave E40 when asked to score West Coast rappers in a Canadian magazine feature. For a rapper as respected as E40, who was already a Bay Area legend. That wasn't just an insult, it was war bait.
So anyway, to make a long story short and a short story long, it came to rating me, and from a scale from 1 to 10, you know what that man gave me? A 0, bro. A 0, and I'm a platinum artist at the time.
E40 didn't take the diss lightly. According to numerous accounts, Biggie was lured into performing at a fake show in Sacramento, an event secretly organized by people close to E40's circle. Once Big was on the ground, E40 got a call. Someone had Biggie in their sights and asked, "What do you want me to do with him?"
Well, people knew I was hot, right? So, and my youngins, my little young hyenas, they so sneaky. I didn't even know that I didn't even know on everything. I didn't even know dude had a concert in Sacramento. Called me like 11 at night.
Party, what you want me to do with this nigga? I got this nigga Biggie, and what you want us to do with him?
To his credit, E40 de-escalated the situation. He called off the hit and ensured Big got back to his hotel safely. Later, he said in an interview, "I didn't book the concert, but yeah, my folks were on his head." What makes this even more chilling is how close it came to being Biggie's final night, over a magazine rating. The music industry has seen its share of beefs, but few come that close to deadly retaliation. Biggie never forgot. He even acknowledged E40 with a quiet nod in the liner notes of Life After Death. A subtle, respectful gesture that showed he understood the gravity of what had almost gone down. The E40 incident proved something Biggie probably already knew. In hip-hop, respect isn't just earned with bars. It's about politics, geography, and power. And sometimes, saying the wrong thing in the wrong place can cost you your life. But Biggie's beef didn't end with a .40 comma, which brings us to number 6, Jeru the Damager. Both Jeru the Damager and Biggie hailed from Brooklyn, representing different corners of the same borough. But in 1994, Jeru dropped One Day, a scathing critique of commercialization in hip-hop. In the song, he called out Puffy, Foxy Brown, and aimed at the flashy, champagne-soaked image Bad Boy was promoting. Although Jeru never directly mentioned Biggie, DJ Premier later revealed that Big felt personally disrespected by the track, specifically the shots at rappers wearing Versace suits. To Biggie, that felt like a diss aimed straight at him, even if his name wasn't in the verse.
We were talking about, well, even though he wrote it, I still backed him on it, and I still stand by that record. Jeru wanted to paint a picture of how he saw hip-hop at that particular moment. So I remember even when I spoke to Big about it, he was like, yeah, but you got to be talking about me, because he said he had a Versace suit on.
Premier told XXL that Biggie came to him and said, "I had to get back at your man." That's when Big responded on Kick in the Door with the line, "Yo, son, I'm surprised you run with them." It was a cold, calculated jab aimed at Premier himself, who had worked closely with both artists. That line ended any illusion of neutrality.
Say what you gotta say. Once I heard it, I froze for a second when he said, "Son, I'm surprised you run with them."
Can we see that?
You know what I'm saying? So
yes, no disrespect. Yes, son. When Big says son, I'm surprised you run with them. He's speaking directly to
I
DJ
immediately
Premier.
said he's talking about. Yeah, I like, you know, if you know the streets and you know how to understand lyrics, you know exactly what it was.
This wasn't a beef born from violence. It was about ideology. Jeru was raw, underground, and militant in his lyricism. Big represented mainstream success and crossover appeal. And in the mid-90s, Brooklyn was split down the middle. Some saw Jeru as a voice for the streets. Others saw Big as the borough's true king. In the end, the two never traded blows or engaged in full-blown war. But the rift was clear. This was a battle of principles, of street credibility versus stardom. And in Brooklyn, that meant everything. Now, here's where things get murky and dangerous. Number 5, DJ Quick. According to long-standing speculation, there was friction between DJ Quick and Biggie that went deeper than music. Some say Quick was envious of Biggie's meteoric rise and East Coast influence, Meanwhile, Big never liked Quick either, mainly due to his affiliation with Suge Knight and Death Row Records. In Biggie's eyes, Quick wasn't just another rapper. He was linked to the opposition. On the night of the infamous Vibe Party in Los Angeles, just hours before Biggie was killed, Keef D said he saw DJ Quick lurking outside with DJ Theo and a group of blood-affiliated guys. Concerned, Keef went back inside and warned Puff and Biggie to be careful. Later, when asked if he believed DJ Quick had something to do with Biggie's murder, Keef lamented that he truly believed it was Quick, because he was pretty sure he saw him there, surrounded by known bloods. The moment an interviewer asked him to clarify that belief, Keef didn't flinch. Yeah.
Ooh, daddies, man.
So I want to backtrack, man, to the DJ Quick comment, because I want to get more clarity on that. What did DJ Quick do that night that made y'all think probably had something to do with Biggie getting killed?
He showed up with them dudes, the blood dude. That's what I think. Yeah.
So you think DJ Quick has something to do with Biggie getting killed?
I just think the setup went down in that type of way. I don't know.
Keef didn't claim Quick pulled the trigger, but in the paranoid, gang-influenced atmosphere of 90s hip-hop, just being around the wrong crowd could make you a suspect. And on that tragic night, DJ Quick's presence alone cast a dark shadow over Biggie's final hours. Next is number 4, Wu-Tang Clan. The beef between Biggie and Wu-Tang was less about direct shots and more about simmering tension tied to the broader East Coast versus West Coast narrative. At the heart of it, Biggie reportedly never liked Wu-Tang. Whether it was their unfiltered style, their Staten Island roots, or just pure competition, the tension was thick. The friction started when Raekwon and Ghostface Killah dropped Criminology, hyping themselves as the ones truly killing shit in the game. It didn't name Biggie, but he still took offense. He saw it as an attempt to downplay his reign, especially coming from within New York. To Big, those lines were a subtle challenge to his throne. In response, Big didn't hold back. On the Puff Daddy track, Victory, he went beyond subliminals, using Wu-Tang's own lyrical style against them. Though Wu-Tang never responded publicly to Biggie's rumored disdain, the tension was real, and it fed into that larger climate where even within the East Coast, lines were being drawn and loyalty was constantly tested. This wasn't a beef that exploded into headlines, but it was part of a complex mosaic of rivalries that painted Biggie's final years. Behind every bar was a message. Behind every silence, a choice. And in the shadows of those decisions, respect was either won or lost. And there's more. Number 3 is KRS-One. Imagine flipping through a hip-hop magazine in the mid-90s and seeing a quote from Biggie that says, KRS-One, nah, I don't like KRS no more because he just thinks he's too dope. He let his ego take over his shit, and that's what brings him down. Shouts, blow it to yourself, asterisk. When he was like that, then he was a 10. I am hip-hop. Eat a dick, nigga. Eat a motherfucking dick. Biggie's words felt especially harsh given KRS-One's legendary status as one of the pioneers of conscious rap and a cornerstone of Bronx hip-hop. DJ Kenny Parker, KRS-One's brother and longtime DJ, said the insult wasn't just personal, it was cultural. For the Bronx, it was like Biggie had disrespected one of their founding fathers, and that couldn't go unchecked.
So people from the Bronx were coming up to us upset saying, yo, thinks he could come out and diss the OGs from the Bronx. This sentiment was circling around hip hop.
According to Kenny, Bronx heads were livid. Even street veterans like Willie D, a known affiliate of Boogie Down Productions, reportedly talked about handling the situation. Tension skyrocketed, and the beef teetered on the edge of real violence. But fate intervened. One night in a packed Manhattan club, Biggie saw Kenny Parker, walked straight over, and tried to clear the air. Big claimed he was drunk during the interview, misquoted, and never intended to say anything so extreme. I did have a problem with the I am hip-hop line, Biggie explained, but I never said all that. Kenny believed him. He passed the message to KRS, and not long after, thanks to quick thinking, mature conversations, and mutual respect, the beef was diffused before it could explode. But for a brief moment, this clash between two New York giants was just one wrong move away from becoming something far worse. Number 2 is Nas. Nas and Biggie were friends. Sort of. There was mutual respect, But there was also ego, and New York was only big enough for one king. They were supposed to collaborate. A remix of Gimme the Loot was even discussed. But Nas kept missing studio sessions. According to industry insiders, Biggie took that personally. He felt like Nas thought he was too good to show up. Then came The Message. Nas dropped the line, "Lex with TV sets the minimum." A line Biggie reportedly believed was aimed directly at him. That subtle flex, delivered in Nas's signature style, sparked something. Big responded on Kickin' the Door. "Your reign on top was short like leprechauns." It was cryptic, but many agree it was meant for Nas. After Big passed, Nas himself later admitted in an interview that they had their moments, clashes, even down to having similar album covers. But in his words, it was just competition. Healthy, intense, and real.
It's over the album cover, right?
The album cover.
Biggie,
Go ahead. I had a picture of young me, Notorious B.I.G, rest in peace, had a picture of a baby that was going to be him.
Right.
Supposed to be him. So, of course, people start, because they was comparing us anyway.
Right.
So then the album cover came, and it was like, oh. So Ghost said it. I said, it's straight blood sport out here. It's war. Look at it like that. It was just competition at that time. So at that time, I was riding with that a little bit. It was competition.
Despite the cold lines and competitive tension, things never exploded into full-blown beef. Instead, they exchanged sharp lyrical jabs hidden in plain sight. No interviews calling each other out, no stage confrontations, just two lyrical giants in a quiet, heavyweight chess match that helped define an era. And finally, we are at number 1, Tupac Shakur. This one's a tragedy, pure and simple. Tupac and Biggie started as friends. Pac cooked for Big. Big slept on Pac's couch. They freestyled together at Madison Square Garden.
They got the camera, they like me, but now I'm about to bat this on because this Tangeray is getting hella strong. Money, hoes, and clothes. Blood smoke coming out the nose. Is all the nose. Flipping on foes. Putting tags on toes. Watching the...
Pac even gave Biggie advice early in his career. Stay with Puff. He'll make you a star. Then came November 30th, 1994. Quad Studios. Tupac walked in, expecting a friendly session with Big and Puff. Instead, he got 5 bullets in the lobby. He survived. But everything changed. Tupac believed Biggie set him up.
Me 5 times, I came out of jail and sold 5 million. Them niggas can't with us. That fat only sold $1 million, he had half of New York rap.
There was never proof, but Biggie's release of Who Shot Ya only escalated things. Pac fired back with Hit 'Em Up, the most vicious diss track in hip-hop history. He dragged Faith Evans into it. He went nuclear. Biggie was stunned. Publicly, he tried to keep cool. Privately, he was hurt. After Tupac's death, Biggie tried to make peace with the coast. One man against one man made a whole coast. Hate another coast, he said. Pac can't squash it. He's gone. I gotta try. But 6 months later, Biggie was gone too. From industry tension to life and death beefs, Biggie's list of enemies wasn't just about rap. It was about pride, loyalty, betrayal, and sometimes just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Some of these feuds ended in peace, others ended in blood. And the rest? We're still putting the pieces together. But what do you think? Was Tupac the real villain, or was Biggie hiding more than he let on? Who do you think hurt Biggie most? Drop your thoughts below and stick around, because hip-hop's history is only getting darker. And the truth? It's still unfolding.